Mary missing on Christmas. Pierre Bianconi, age 31, missing since December 29th, 1993. Pierre Porat Bianconi is a French former professional football player who played as a defender. Bianconi played for SC Batista, RCFC Besançon, Cannes, Nimes, and Paris Saint-Germain over the course of 11 years, making over 175 career appearances and scoring 5 goals. As a very aggressive player, Bianconi received numerous yellow and red cards during his career. In a friendly between Nimes and Toulouse in 1985, he slapped Alberto Marcio. The referee brandished his red card, but Bianconi thought otherwise and decided to rip apart the card and headbutt the referee, who was left with a bloody nose. Bianconi was given a 6-month ban in all competitions and never played for Nimes again. On the 2nd of September 1989, Bianconi made his debut for the Corsica national team in a 4-3 victory over Toulon. Bianconi mysteriously disappeared on the 29th of December 1993 at the age of 31. His car was found on the port of Batista, but without any trace of its owner. Patrick Warren David Spencer, age 11 and 13, missing December 27, 1996. On the evening of Boxing Day 1996, best friends Patrick Warren and David Spencer left their Chelsea Wood residence to play outside. Patrick left on his brand new bicycle, which had been a Christmas present, while David was on foot. The boys had been spotted by a police officer earlier that afternoon, playing with another group of children in Meriden Park, where they had been warned by the officer not to play on the frozen pond. After returning home, they told their parents of their plans to visit one of Patrick's brothers that evening. Derek Warren, another of Patrick's brothers, went looking for the boys the next day when he found out they had not arrived. The last known sighting of the boys was just after midnight by a petrol station attendant who gave them a packet of biscuits. Patrick's brand new red Apollo bicycle was found abandoned behind the petrol station near the bins. Although the police did not realize it was his until several weeks later. The petrol station attendant said she saw the boys walking toward the local shopping center. The police initially treated the boys' disappearance as a normal missing persons inquiry, but despite no confirmed sightings of them after Boxing Day, senior officers told the media that there was no reason to suppose that they had come to any harm. Professor David Wilson, a criminologist who studied the police's initial response to the boys' disappearance, concluded that David and Patrick's working-class background affected how their case was handled. If it had been 2 boys from middle-class Solihull that went missing, that case would have been treated initially very differently. And it's about that word we're never allowed to use. Class. This is about a class judgment that was made, which was prepared to see them as runaways, as opposed to vulnerable. The boys' disappearance received little media attention beyond the local press and what was been cited as an example of missing white girl syndrome. However, the boys' faces were among the first to appear on milk cartons in a groundbreaking campaign launched by the National Missing Persons Helpline in April 1997. Just days after the boys disappeared, 17-year-old Nicola Dixon was found assaulted and murdered in a graveyard 8 miles away in Sutton Coldfield. Though her killer was found and convicted, the police say that police resources and media attention between Christmas 1996 and New Year's Day 1997 was dominated by the Dixon case. On the 10th anniversary of their disappearance, the boys were the subject of a BBC Crime Watch special appeal for information, which drew no fresh leads. In 2003, West Midlands Police publicly announced that they had arrested a 37-year-old man in connection with the disappearances. He was later released on bail and has never been charged. Following a second Crime Watch appeal, fresh new leads were announced by the police. In 2006, the police announced they were closer than ever to solving the mystery of what happened to the boys, but despite renewed hope from the families, no one has ever been charged with their abduction. After the case was reviewed in 2006, convicted murderer and pedo Brian Lund Field was named the suspect. However, Police were not able to secure a confession or obtain tangible evidence to connect him to the boys' disappearance. Derek Edgerson, age 8, missing since December 5th, 1998. On December 5th, 1998, 8-year-old Derek Edgerson traveled to Pelican Butte with his father and grandfather near Rocky Point, Oregon, roughly 30 miles from Klamath Falls and immediately south of Crater Lake National Park. The three had planned to look for a Christmas tree. At some point during the excursion, Edgerson wandered away from his father and grandfather. He was reported missing that evening by his father and grandfather, who notified a passing motorist around 4:13 p.m. The motorist traveled to a nearby resort approximately 2 miles away, where he placed a phone call to 911. Law enforcement discovered a crude shelter made of fir burrows beneath several fallen logs near the area Edgerson went missing, but search dogs were unable to detect his scent there. Due to the extreme conditions of the area, law enforcement speculated he would have succumbed quickly to the elements. Edgerson's parents stated that their son had grown up in the mountains and was used to walking distances of 20 miles in steep terrain. In the hours immediately after Edgerson's disappearance, his family and law enforcement discovered small footprints in the snow, which made a loop from the location where his father had last seen him to a clearing near the road, where a snow angel, presumably left by Edgerson, was found. A snowplow had obliterated the tracks that led away from the snow angel, and no additional footprints were found. Several pieces of chopped wood were also discovered nearby. When he disappeared, Edgerson had a small hatchet with him and was dressed in a snowsuit. In the late evening, a blizzard hit the area, hampering search efforts. Initial searches were completed by foot with search canines, as well as aerial searches using a Civil Air Patrol plane and an Air Force Reserve helicopter. Several relatives also undertook independent searches. On December 13, 1998, 8 days into the investigation, Klamath County Police suspended their search. Edgerson's family continued independent search efforts and camped at the site in a donated camper van over the following 2 weeks, while hundreds of volunteers continued to organize search efforts. On December 18th, further search efforts were terminated due to sub-zero temperatures, which made it unsafe for anyone to travel through the area. In the ensuing months, more than 10,000 hours were spent performing ground searches. Early in the investigation, a witness claimed to have seen an unidentified man struggling with a young boy in the area. Later, during the day, Edgerson disappeared. The witness ignored the event, as they had assumed the man was the boy's father. Additional reports were made of an unidentified man driving a 2-door Honda, asking passerbys for directions in the forest that day. Mary missing on Christmas.